what I mean when I say one survivable movement, one survivable movement. Shit, we all gotta survive. Why the hell else you live?
Yo, what up, doggies? Johnny Zuko standing here with Ony Oz.
Emcee.
Oz?
Emcee.
S?
O-Z with the period.
Oh, okay.
That's what it, yep, it's missed all the time. It's a long story, Emcee.
Yeah, well, you got plenty of time now, so you're gonna have to break that down.
Right. Basically, when I was like 15, I was junior C, my name being Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And me and the dude I came up with, we were just posting one day, and you know, obviously, I got junior C when I was like 12, so you know, it's silly little names when you're hella young trying to rap. But we were posting one day, just smoking and drinking, and we were talking about how like at that point in time, if you were caught with an ounce of weed in your possession, it was a felony. So we were like, man, we be smoking felonies. You know, for every ounce we smoking felonies. So we were like, that should be the name of our album, Smoking Felonies. And just somewhere at the point in time in the night, we just broke apart felony. Felony.
Okay.
Ony. So it came from felony. And I put the ounce to it probably just because of the, you know, every ounce in terms of a felony, as in a felony ounce. So that's kind of where it came from. But of course it manifested into, you know, a lot more than that. Ony, although spelled O-N-I, is Japanese for warrior.
Warrior, yeah.
So, right. So, you know, there's a lot of things that kind of coincided with it. Ony, it reminds me of one, just in terms of the word one. So it has a lot of deep-rooted meaning to me.
Yeah, because
you know?
when I saw your name, I thought that's exactly what you're going for, because a lot of your music is is conscious and revolutionary in concept and in topics. Am I wrong, or?
Well, I mean, no, you're not wrong. It's just I feel the one stigma within hip hop is taking those terms and actually creating the label around the artist. So, but in terms of us as human beings, we are evolutionary, we are revolutionary. We are a part of society, so we are social and consciously aware. So to me, it's almost like I want to giggle at it for the fact that when we say as artists we are conscious or socially aware and all this stuff, that it then becomes our label. That's not my label, because that is what I am as a human being.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from the whole, you know, that conscious hip hop, because, you know, that takes me down a whole nother road and perspective of how I feel the stereotypes within hip hop have evolved. You see, there's two extremes within hip hop, and they're growing. You know, as time passes, they continue to grow. That conscious, real hip hop, it's a label as much as this mainstream, thug, club, booty shaking hip hop. We are so caught up in what the image of it is, and that's one thing that, you know, when I was coming up, I was going down the wrong path, and I had to really wake myself up to get myself back, just in life in general. And when I did that, it affected my music to the extent that I wanted to go find that real hip hop element that I may have been missing within my music.
Stop lying to me, stop lying to me, stop lying to me. Every time I'm on the block and the cops pass by, seem like they always gotta shine their lights in my eyes. Stop lying to me, stop lying to me, stop lying to me, stop lying to me. Posted on the block with a bag in my sock. Look around the corner, cause some crooked ass cops pulled over to the curb, you can smell the dank. Got their flashlights out, shining straight in my face. Sent them legally straight, showed them my cannabis card, but they proceeded to wrestle with me and pin me on the ball. I was screaming and shouting, they started searching my pockets.
I take a quote from Dead Press. You know, I like pussy. I don't know if it was Stick that said that or M1. I'm a human being. You know, not to put it on such a vulgar topic, but it's like when these underground heads want to look at these artists that may not be representing hip hop, you know, correctly or to the true art. It's like, you got to understand they're human beings. Yeah. And they got to understand that just because they're conforming to a certain conscious image doesn't mean that you're hip hop either, because hey, we're human. You know, we have goods and bad qualities.
We all got our
go
vices.
through life. Exactly. So I don't have to sit here and be righteous in my preaching in order to be real hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, when it goes for the sound too, we got to understand that just because you sample, and I got hated on a lot. You know, I'm not gonna say no names, but I brought my first album I ever pressed up. I brought it to a local record shop, hip hop shop, and dude popped it in, played like the first few seconds of the first 3 songs, popped my shit out, looked at me and said, "You need a sample." Okay. First off, you didn't even listen to my words. You don't even know what I'm talking about or what I'm representing. But because I didn't sample, so I'm not being that cliche. So again, it's like, yeah, we gotta understand that we gotta allow hip hop to grow. And I think again, it's just like, as much as you look at what these labels are doing to raping the culture, you gotta look at what these heads are doing to hold back the culture. And I think one thing Nas was trying to explain this, you know, it's like we gotta carry on tradition, but we gotta allow it to evolve. Hip hop ain't what it was in, like, you know, 86 or 92 or 96. You know, we got to understand that this is continually evolving to where we are at as a people today.
Second-class citizens and hustle for their dividends. Independent bosses who start their own businesses. Set it off like Robin and Banks. I got a super bad making. I revenge the soul. Sexy and smooth, and I believe more than a top model. Let's all celebrate, I'm reaching for that top bottle. Let's do the drama, we all love our mamas. And all the beautiful queens from Cali to the Bahamas. I almost wanna vote Oprah in his president. Cause every other damn candidate is irrelevant. This is my oldest long road. This is what happens when you...
Because I always want an album to be, you know, solid from A to Z, you know, and look at it like a story, like a movie, beginning to end. And I'm very meticulous in terms of piecing it all together. So I think I have it in a way, because at the same time, you don't want every song to be the same song, you know. Definitely. And I get that a lot. You know, I'll there'll be an album out and I'll respect it, you know, enough to purchase it. Like, I hear a song or two, but then you hear the whole album, it's like those same couple songs throughout the whole album. Then you just get tired. So you gotta be able to mix it up.
Are you afraid that, like, if you have too many songs, people tune out by, like, maybe the 10th or 11th track or something like that?
Oh man, don't tell Master P that, man. You know, well, that's interesting, because, you know, you look at it from a business aspect. I'm not talking about his music. Yeah. But if you look at what Master P did in the late 90s, early 2000s, I mean, he revolutionized the bang for your buck. But you look at the age of downloads and MP3s and iTunes, so you do got to kind of take that into consideration, because I think these younger cats, you know, they want that one song that catches them and that they can just like ride with. So I'm definitely conscious about that, where before I took that approach of just I'm gonna fill this 80-minute CD up with as much as I can. Yeah. But so right now I think I got like 15 tracks, including the intro. So I'm keeping it within perspective, you know. So.
Yeah, because I spoke to Lee Earl, and he was saying that he always keeps his songs anywhere between 8 to 10 songs, because he feels that the consumer would tune out by that 10th song. Right, you know? So that's why he always does that like that. So you're not afraid about doing that, though. You think, like, you know what, you're gonna get this whole 15, and this 15, you're gonna love every single one.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the ability, going back to just the diversity of the album. One thing you want to look at, you know, I think when you put an album together, is you want to bring it in, you want to hit them hard with that first track or that intro or those first couple tracks. But you can kind of, you know, it's like a movie too. You know, obviously you want to grab them in that movie in the beginning, and you want to grab their attention. But there's going to be slow points in the movie too, where it's, you know, what brings you down. But then you hit that climax. And then, of course, you want that ending to go out with a bang. Yeah. So you got to kind of look at it too. You don't want to have an album of 15, 16 tracks and have your best 8 tracks, the first 8, and then the last 7 or 8 tracks, you know, wear them out. So you do got to kind of mix it up. You know, say the first 2 tracks are bangers, the next 2 tracks are more mellow, laid back. So, you know, you can keep every kind of listener, you know, really involved by mixing.
So in other
words,
like you don't want a Michael Bay album?
Oh my God! Hey, I'm sorry, but
I had to.
Age and where I'm at right now, it's like I write a 16 with that, or I'll start writing and I'll be like, okay, I got my verse and I'll count my bars and it'll be 16. So it seems to come automatically, but I don't really pay mind to that too much. Like I said, I guess I'm kind of at a point where I feel it, but I'm very much what you say, what I would call like a freestyle writer, because when I write, I just let it go. And I know in this day and age too, where you talk about I never write my verses down, which any rapper out there that's listening to this, I'm gonna call you out right now. Not to say that they all do this. The whole, you know, not writing my verse down thing, man, I've seen how it is, and I've recorded artists that it's just, you know, basically you want to spit a bar and you want to take 5 minutes to think of another bar without writing it down, and then you want to record that bar. It's like, get a paper out, write shit down, man.
I think Tretch said it best, man. A lot of these cats out here say that they don't write, and it sounds like they don't write. Put some concept into your shit, man.
That too, yeah,
So
right.
I think Tretch said that best, and you know, I recorded a couple of artists too, and they do 4x4x4, and so it'll take them like 2 hours to finish like one verse.
Right,
Wow.
right. You get me in a state, and I'm not trying to be cocky here or nothing, but I feel it is professionalism. If you're at a stage in your career, and this is what you do, and you go to a studio, and whether you're recording for another artist, so they say, look, I need you to drop a 16 on this, you better have that 16 in like 15, 20 minutes. You know, then you take a few minutes, you know, spit it a couple times, rehearse it, get up in there, you know, get that take done. And again, it's not saying that you need to be cocky. It's just professionalism. You know, if you're in a job and you clock in, you know what you got to do and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel it's the same way we're in your studio. When you're in the studio, you clock in, you got to get your work done. And, you know, that's just kind of how I approach it. I came up, like, really listening to that bass shit, you know, Quinn and Emcee and the Delinquents and Short and obviously Tupac. You know, but then I also listen to a lot of, like, Who Can't Click, you know, Smith & Wesson and Buckshot, Black Moon. So I had a lot of diverse style coming up. I had a lot of East Coast homies that influenced me as well. So I kind of took more of a approach in terms of being able to critically think about your rhymes a little later on, you know, after I kind of evolved, you know, and I got in my little like cannabis phase, you know, where you start listening to these artists that can really take their vocabulary and just hit you with something. Right. So, but then, you know, again, but then you evolve outside of that. And I feel it wasn't probably till I really came of age myself at around 21, 22 that I started bringing it all together, and it started to evolve who Ony Oz was, you know, as an artist.
Do you think that your writing method and your writing has gotten better over the years?
Yes. Definitely for the most part, because you got to always evolve as an artist. But at the same time, I will say, you know, with what's going on in my life, I was under a lot of pressure. You know, at one point, just working in the industry, that can really kill your artistry, you know. And then what was going on in my life, kind of why I put the music on hold for a minute. So it took a while for me to find that again, and I'm still kind of trying to evolve to get back into it. Because I do look back, and I remember a point in time where it was like between maybe like 07 to 2010, where I just felt I was at the pinnacle of my flow. And after taking that break, I feel myself trying to kind of work back up to that level.
So I want to talk more about the Tupac influence, because that's very heavily referenced and influenced throughout your music, and I can also hear it in your delivery as well. Is it safe to say that he played a major part in your music?
He played a major part in my life, you know, and I always say he saved my life, and that ain't an over exaggeration. You know, I know we as artists or even we as fans can really look up to someone as an inspiration, as an idol, or whatever words you want to use to describe it. But I was at a point, man, you know, where it wasn't leading me anywhere except for jail or death. And I remember the moment, you know, when he really spoke to me in a sense, you know, and if it wasn't for that realization within myself and having his influence and his words there to inspire me and pull me out of that, yeah. And so it's bigger than the music, and I feel like I use the music as a tool, because my favorite quote by him is, you know, I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee I will spark the brain that will change the world. So now it's my part to be that brain to change the world. And I feel, you know, it's like, you know, that's what I live by every day. And you know, I've continued to hold on to his music to where it's like every time I put it in again, any of his albums in, you keep pulling something from it. You know, you keep pulling something new.
You know, a lot of his music, even though it's like maybe dated back 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years, a lot of the stuff he's saying is still relevant now.
Right.
How far do you think ahead of the game was he?
Dude, man, I mean, and that shows what hip hop is and could be and should be. Tupac right there, and as much hate as he gets from people that haven't listened to his music or understand him because of his image or the thug life. But really, thug life is hip hop, and that's what people don't understand. Because his message was an ideology that embodied human struggle. And human struggle is relevant no matter what time we're living in. I mean, of course, certain things are gonna change and perspective is gonna change. But so to answer your question, man, I mean, I don't see any time in the near future or even decades to come where it's like this music is gonna be irrelevant. Because you can even take what he was saying and, you know, just change the perception of and put it to what you're living in that moment. So I think it's going to be eternally relevant.
Most definitely. And we were talking about earlier too about how you want it, how that was a club song, and then, you know, we were talking about, you know, him dumbing down his lyrics. So at the same time, you kind of hit me with that, you know, look at his second and third verse. You know, you're just dropping knowledge on him at the same time.
And this goes back to the state of hip hop, and it's like, okay, underground hip hop, conscious hip hop. So what is underground hip hop? Do you want to stay in a box where you have 50 fans, and because you only have 50 fans, that means you're underground hip hop? Or do you want to break barriers and break boundaries and break that mainstream and have thousands and hundreds of thousand fans where your message is getting across? Because the question is, isn't hip hop supposed to be a message for the people? So how are you going to get that message out being underground hip hop if you think having a lot of fans is selling out? So Tupac understood that, and he understood that he needed to put a message out there and get across to the masses. So he, again, not that he dumbed down his music, but he used realism through his lyrics instead of using those big metaphors and punchlines to really get his point across and address it to so many people. And I just want to take, for example, not only did he embody the dope fiend, but he embodied the dope man. So he isn't eliminating anybody from the struggle. So again, going back to the state of hip hop, I'm not being this mainstream artist that's selling my soul, raping my people, but I'm not being this hip hop head that's saying, fuck all that fake ass thug shit, all this dope dealing. Nah. We are the struggle, the good and the bad. So he knew how to speak to everyone in that sense. Look at Kendrick Lamar's new album, and you know, that last track, Mortal Man, where he did a little interview with Tupac, and it's just honestly, man, it got me real emotional. And for me, it's like, you know, you can look at Kendrick as an artist and probably not find a lot of similarities to Tupac. You might find more similarities to, you know, like Tribe Called Quest or Outkast, just in terms of the style. But his message is thug life. That is his message, because he's speaking on those issues in a way that nobody else is. Nas tried to do it, you know, as Nas came of age after Tupac passed.
Yeah.
He really understood at that point, oh, I see what Pac was talking about. He tried to do it. There's not many artists that are doing it, that not really understand that middle ground and that ideology that Tupac was trying to talk about with that thug life, that the hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. How do we come together as a people and you know, evolve?
Ony Oz for taking time out of his busy schedule to chat with us for a minute, and you know, we'll be back. But again, don't be afraid. Check, pulse, peace.
Yes, it's true, I still get high, don't ask why though. We all know it's hard to survive with 5-0. Double lock overseas, and they wanna see us leaving, cause as long as we breathing, they wanna see us all beating. My grandmother sailing overseas on a boat, trying to skip the poverty of Sicily, the whole family broke. But coming here was a joke, you try to rise to the top, but the bottom say the slanted eyes, the niggas and watch. We all part of a plot, see I'm just like you. The American dream is for only a few, but not for me, and not for us. In God they trust, but in guns we bust. Our roots aren't acute, we all one and the same. Grow fruit for the youth just to feed the brain. Our roots aren't acute, we all one and the same. Grow fruit for the youth just to feed the brain. Come on, we gonna make it, yes, we gonna make it. This is for our children and I'm here to say thank you. We gonna make it, yes, we're gonna make it. This is for our future so the world don't hate you. We gonna make it, oh yes, we're gonna make it. If you see your opportunity, you best not waste it. We gonna make it, we gonna make it, come on, we gonna make it. We gonna make it, come on, we gonna make it, yes, we gonna make it. This is for our children and I'm here to say thank you. We gonna make it, yes, we're gonna make it. This is for the future so the world don't hate you.
Word to the masses. I have 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I ain't hearing shit. Ain't hearing shit. This should be revolutionizing our evolution. I mean, we should be revolutionizing communication, but we're devolving. Exactly, and taking steps backwards. And the false information that's out there, there's more inaccurate information with memes and all this crap, and these posts that say, you know, Obama did this, or and on both sides, and we see it, we share it, we believe it, and yep, there it is, fact, truth. Like, no.